From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the News at 10. Live from Channels Television. Reporting tonight, Nwawodo.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Senate directs its Committee on Finance to suspend further action on proposed tax bill pending the outcome of a high-level meeting with the Attorney General of the Federation. House of Representatives steps down a bill to amend the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act to insulate judicial officers from prosecution. Speakers at the University of Lagos 55th Anniversary Lecture tasked Nigerians to contribute their quota to nation building in a deregulated economy. And South Korea's opposition lawmakers begin impeachment proceedings against President Yoon Suk-yeol over his failed attempt to impose martial law.
And on business news, Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Eno, asked Fiscal Authority to address private sector concerns.
On sports news tonight, Super Falcons Chiamaka Nadozie is gunning for a double with Captain Rashida Tajibade missing out as CAF unveils the top 5 for the African Women Player of the Year and Goalkeeper of the Year.
And from Abuja, the nation's capital, courts remand human rights lawyer Dele Faratimi at Ado-Ekiti Correctional Center over an alleged case of defamation. One day after President Bola Tinubu ordered the Attorney General of the Federation to meet with the National Assembly to iron out the areas of concern in the tax reform bill, the Senate has now directed its Committee on Finance to suspend further action on the proposed bills pending the outcome of the meeting with the Attorney General of the Federation. The Deputy Senate President, Senator Barao Jibrin, who made this announcement during plenary, disclosed that a special committee has been constituted to address contentious issues on the bill, with a meeting scheduled for Thursday, December the 5th. The decision follows a series of deliberations by lawmakers aimed at resolving the disagreements over the key provisions in the proposed legislation. The contentious areas have sparked debate about stakeholders, among them in the last couple of days. Our National Assembly correspondent, Gloria Omezoke, reports. As lawmakers resume on the second day of plenary, the subject of the president's tax reform bill is once again whipped up.
In the entire world.
The lawmakers had barely settled when the deputy president of the Senate, Senator Barao Jibrin, made an announcement to halt further deliberations on the controversial tax bill.
That has been agreed by the executive and also by us that there should be a forum that will sit with the Attorney General of the Federation, so that we can sit and look at all the areas of disagreement and resolve them for the interest of this nation. It's on this note that the Committee on Finance that the bills have been referred to should halt action on public hearing and other issues until we resolve these issues.
A 10-man committee is set up by the Senate to interface with the Attorney General of the Federation 24 hours after President Bola Tinubu gave the directive for the minister to engage stakeholders, including the National Assembly, to address concerns that have trailed the bills.
Incessant delay.
Another matter of crucial concern is raised by one senator.
The Senate notes the incessant delay and cancellation of flight by airline operator in Nigeria, which ceaselessly seem to be increased in recent time.
The robust debate underscored the shared impact of airline misconduct on individuals and the socio-economic landscape.
Are the only airports in the whole wide world where your flights are delayed without any explanation, without any apology. Our compliance committee must ensure that whatever resolutions that we arrive at here is complied with by these agencies, because these organizations or service providers are taking Nigerians and Nigeria for a ride.
I think the first thing we'll do is to ensure that there's penalty for cancelling flight, because you pay money if it didn't show. So why would they cancel flight unnecessarily without paying anybody? The first thing we recommend is we have to add it that airlines must pay Nigerians. If not, there will be no seriousness on their part.
In a voice vote, the lawmakers resolved to summon the Minister of Aviation, among others.
Mandate the Senate Committee on Aviation to invite the Honorable Minister of Aviation and Aerospace, the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, airline operators, and other relevant stakeholders to, among other things, unravel the circumstances behind the incessant flight delays and cancellations with a view to finding a lasting solution to the problem.
Meanwhile, the Senate has passed through third reading a number of bills, including the Nigerian Police Force Training Institutions Establishment Bill 2024, as well as the Maize Export Bill 2024, which prohibits the exportation of maize in large quantities. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has stepped down a bill to amend the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act to insulate judicial officers from prosecution before being lawfully removed from office and to enable public officers maintain foreign bank accounts. The bill was stepped down after one of the sponsors dissociated himself from the aspect of public officers maintaining foreign bank accounts. Our National Assembly correspondent Terry Ikumi reports.
Wednesday's plenary session in the House of Representatives witnessed a mild confusion when the House moved to consider two bills lumped as one. The bill sought to amend the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act to insulate judicial officers from prosecution before being lawfully removed from office and to allow public officers maintain foreign bank accounts.
Considering the impediments or the difficulties the public officers face, particularly on the issue of school payments of school outside the country, and also the sickness. Because of the bottleneck we experience today, one is not allowed to maintain a foreign account.
The aspect seeking to allow public officers operate foreign bank accounts was largely condemned by lawmakers.
Our exchange rate is already having a problem, and this thing is done to present the kind of corruption and some people that take money out of the country. The major problem this country is having is capital flight, taking our money out of Nigeria. And this bill will rather encourage capital flight, and that will not be interest upon Nigerians.
There is a room for domiciliary account, which makes it easy for every Nigerian to keep foreign money and use it abroad. Why? If this is allowed, it makes room for people to indulge in corruption and tell them to go and pay abroad.
Honorable Solomon Bob, listed as one of the sponsors of the bill, instantly dissociates himself from that aspect of the bill.
My own is about insulating judicial officers, okay, from being arbitrarily removed from office, okay, without going through the required constitutional process. The other one dealing with foreign accounts is not my business.
It soon became clear that both bills were unrelated.
Chairman rules. I think there is an issue here. If you look at the two subject matters, they are not related. Where did we go for consolidation of these two bills when the subject matters are not related?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, with the volume of bills that we have at the moment, we have decided that bills that seek to amend one particular law, for in this case the Code of Conduct, we bring all of them together for us to...
But I don't think if they are on the same subject matter. They are completely unrelated.
The bill was eventually stepped down and is to be separated into two bills. Meanwhile, the House has passed a resolution on a separate matter to carry out an investigative audit on the Solid Mineral Development Fund from 2015 till date. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
The University of Lagos alumni is challenging Nigerians to play their role in developing the country. This message resonated at the association as they commemorated its 55th anniversary with a thought-provoking lecture held at the J.F. Adeajayi Auditorium, within the university campus in Akoka, themed nation building in a deregulated economy, a clarion call for citizens. The event brought together prominent personalities and thought leaders to deliver an insightful address that explored ways for active citizen participation in economic and national development. Our correspondent, Dari Doru, reports.
Great Akoka! Great Akoka! Greatest of the greatest of the greatest!
That's the mood, the energy in this auditorium as the University of Lagos Alumni Association brings together old and new students for the 55th anniversary lecture. The president of the University of Lagos Alumni Association, Engineer Ifeoluwa Oyedele, is the chief host. He appeals for greater involvement of alumni members in maintaining the leadership status of the school.
I also want to appeal to all of you to ensure that we begin to attract all of the alumni of this university to come back to this university to help. There's no university in the world that is run strictly from money doled out by the university.
The immediate past president of the Alumni Association, Dr. John Momo, is the chairman of the event. He speaks on the importance of leveraging alumni networks for societal impact and nation building.
For 55 years, our university has been a shining example of academic excellence, of innovation, and of resilience. It has produced leaders, trailblazers, and change makers in virtually every sector of society. Many of us here today owe much of our success to the solid foundation we received within these walls. At 55, the University of Lagos is standing tall. The number 55 is significant. It is considered to be a powerful symbol of change, success, progress, fortune, and spiritual growth.
The Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Folashade Ogunshola, expresses her gratitude to the ever-present Alumni Association.
I have to say that the University of Lagos has been lucky in its alumni. You have been great, you have supported us, but I can always tell you that as the university, we will be coming back for more. We will always ask for more. The country has gone through a lot of challenges, and it has impacted the university as well. But we stand today because we refuse to give up. The resilience of the staff within these walls, that the University of Lagos will not go down. The resilience, the passion with which people bring to their work, and with which the alumni has supported us, cannot be underestimated.
It's time for the keynote address. Dr. Mutiu Sumonu, a man who wears many hats, delivered the message, making the clarion call.
There is no place like home, but home don't come furnished and comfortable and complete. They need to be built and nurtured, just like nations. And we must build this one together, irrespective of tribe, religion, age, or gender.
The universities are actually run not only by government, but mainly by endowment and interest of the alumni.
When this university thing was going to be changed to whatever they wanted to call it, but they stood with us, we would have had nothing to celebrate today, because it's going to be a distortion of our history. We remain Unilag.
The University of Lagos Alumni Association Anniversary Lecture, already a tradition, offers a platform for robust discussions, meaningful connections, and the exchange of practical solutions to challenges facing the nation. Dari Ido, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Joint Security Task Force raid camps of members of indigenous people of Biafra IPOB in Imo State discover shallow graves where victims are buried. Please join us again. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, coming to you live from Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Senate directs its Committee on Finance to suspend further action on the proposed tax bills pending the outcome of a high-level meeting with the Attorney General of the Federation. House of Representatives steps down a bill to amend the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act to insulate judicial officers from prosecution. Speakers at the University of Lagos's 55th anniversary lecture charge Nigerians to contribute their quota to nation building in a deregulated economy. And South Korea's opposition lawmakers began impeachment proceedings against President Yoon Seok-yeol over his failed attempt to impose martial law. Bola Tinubu has arrived Abuja from Cape Town, South Africa, where he attended the 11th session of the Nigeria-South Africa Binational Commission. The president, who arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport around 9 p.m. today, was received on arrival by the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, the APC National Chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje, and other top government officials. President Tinubu left Abuja for a state visit to France on the 27th of November, following an invitation from President Emmanuel Macron before heading to South Africa. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, has emphasized the role of traditional rulers in the ongoing overhaul of the nation's primary healthcare system in collaboration with subnational entities. He was speaking at the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee on PHC Delivery Review meeting in Bauchi.
I have to say that His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is very clear in his vision for this country to be much better than what it is today, to be prosperous into the future. And at the core of that prosperity, good health begets hope, because without health, there is no hope. And it's the consequence of that that he unveiled a specific transformational agenda just a year ago, and all the 36 state governors of this country signed a compact, and 17 development partners signed a compact with the federal government to focus on improving the health of our population. And His Excellency, the Governor of Bauchi State, did that, and we're joining hands with all the 36 state governors and the Federal Capital Territory to expand the services that will reach to our population.
Meanwhile, the Sultan of Sokoto, Saad Abubakar III, has expressed satisfaction with the involvement of the traditional rulers in boosting primary health care at the grassroots level.
The committee was formed in 2009, and the chief midwife is here with us, who happens to be the minister now. I'm sure he'll be one of the happiest in this country to see the development of this committee in 15 years. Now you are on the seat to take care of all the requirements of our health for all the over 200 million Nigerians. It's not a simple thing, but we will pray for you and support you always.
From health to security, the Joint Security Task Force in Imo State, known as Operation Udoka, has uncovered several shallow graves in the Aku community of Okigwe local government area of Imo State. The graves are linked to the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra IPOB and its armed affiliate, and that's the Eastern Security Network, the ESN, who are now believed to have buried their victims there. The discovery occurred during the clearance operation in an area that has been under the control of a suspected IPOB leader, Ifeanyi Okorienta, also known as Gentle, for an extended period. In addition to the graves, the task force recovered multiple stolen vehicles, arms, ammunition, and explosive devices.
Here on clearance operation to clear this general area, a part of Okigwe, to clear them of the menace and evil activities of IPOB ESN, so that the general populace can have peace and harmony to celebrate the New Year and Christmas. That is the general idea why we are conducting operations in Aku, within Okigwe local government area of the state. So far, so good. The criminal elements, prior to now, you couldn't have entered here, but now you are peacefully here and even carrying out this press briefing. Prior to now, you can't enter here, but like you can see you are here and there's some peace.
So many arrests have been made, so many clearance have been done, and you have seen. We have visited their court where they passed judgment. Jungle justice have been passed. We have visited their detention center. People have seen it. We have seen where they buried their victims, shallow graves.
For more on the news at 10, we head over to Abuja studios now, where Gloria Mezoke is standing by to give us more. Hello, Gloria.
Hello, Anne. We turn attention now to a magistrate court sitting in Ado-Ekiti, Ekiti State, which has remanded human rights lawyer Mr. Dele Farotimi at the Ado-Ekiti Correctional Center over an alleged case of defamation against the founder of Afe Babalola University, Ado-Ekiti, Are Afe Babalola. Mr. Farotimi was arraigned by the Ekiti State Police Command for publishing a book titled Nigeria and Its Criminal Justice System, where he alleged, among others, that senior advocate of Nigeria, Afe Babalola, corrupted the judiciary and procured judgments in the Supreme Court. The police prosecutor, Mr. Samson Osubu, preferred a 16-count charge against Mr. Farotimi, to which he pleaded not guilty. The presiding chief magistrate, Mr. Abayomi Adeosun, consequently adjourned the matter till December 10, 2024. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Bar Association has condemned in strong terms the arrest of Mr. Farotimi by the Nigeria Police Force over allegations bordering on libel. A statement by the NBA president, Mr. Afam Osigwe, lamented the alleged invasion of Farotimi's law firm and the purported harassment of lawyers and staff within the premises. Mr. Osigwe described the action of the Nigeria police as a troubling breach of the rule of law and the sanctity of legal profession. Equally condemning the human rights lawyer's arrest is a former vice president and the PDP presidential candidate in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Atiku Abubakar. Mr. Abubakar, in a statement, says the detention of Dele Farotimi serves as a grim reminder of the dark days of military dictatorship, when the iron fist of tyranny sought to crush all dissent. On his part, the former governor of Anambra State and presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last year's election, Mr. Peter Obi, describes Mr. Farotimi's arrest as an assault on democracy, accusing the authorities of misusing police power to stifle dissent. In his words, "I condemn this action in totality. It represents not only an attempt to intimidate opposing voices, but also a gross misuse of police powers." The The Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board has reaffirmed its commitment to strengthening local participation in the oil and gas sector. At the 13th edition of the Practical Nigerian Content Forum in Yenagoa, Imo State, the board highlighted its achievements, which aligns with its mandate under the Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act of 2010.
It's the annual Practical Nigerian Content Forum and has brought together key players in the oil and gas industry. The theme for this year's event is Deepening the Next Frontier for Nigerian Content Implementation. The event served as a platform to celebrate successes while setting new goals for the future. Speaking at the event, the Secretary General of the African Petroleum Producers Organization, Dr. Omar Ibrahim, underscored the need for African nations to increase their investments in oil and gas.
We have been heavily dependent on others to be able to exploit this. And we are also the continent with the largest proportion of its people living in energy poverty. Are we going to leave these resources in the ground because those on whom we have been dependent have decided to move away from it?
In his remarks, the Deputy Governor of Bayelsa State, Senator Lawrence Erujakpo, urged the NCDMB to adopt inclusive strategies by engaging grassroots stakeholders.
We believe that together we'll define a better landscape for the Nigerian content implementation by fostering innovation, inclusivity, and strategic partnership between us and our youths.
The Minister of Petroleum, Gas, Eperikpe Ekpo, and the Minister of Petroleum Oil, Senator Heineken Lopobiri, also emphasized the federal government's commitment to ensuring that local content remains a priority in Nigeria's energy production strategies.
Through the Decade of Gas initiative, we are accelerating the development of critical gas assets and infrastructure to further boost production and distribution of gas across the country and for export purposes.
Today, I can stand here proudly to tell you that we are experiencing divestments from onshore and shallow waters by IOCs. But Nigeria has got nothing to lose.
Wrapping up the event, the Executive Secretary of the NCDMB, Engineer Felix Owe, highlights some of the board's key achievements under the NOGIC Act.
Some of our achievements include the commission of the AMA technology in Idu, Abuja, and the Kwale gas gathering facilities in Delta State. Approval of 312 Nigerian content plan were approved for IOCs, and 402 Nigerian content compliance certificates were issued.
As the forum concluded, stakeholders reaffirmed their commitment to exceeding previous achievements and advancing the objectives of the NOGIC Act. The Practical Nigerian Content Forum continues to be a vital platform for collaboration and progress in the oil and gas sector.
Well, still ahead on the news at 10, Minister of State for Industry John Eno asked fiscal authority to address private sector concerns. That's in business news. Let's join us again. Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 10, coming to you live on Channels Television. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, is promising to establish a senior secondary school in Kabusa community in the Abuja Municipal Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. The minister made the promise when he flagged off the construction of the Kabusa-Keti Road. He also tasked the contractors handling the project to employ youths in the area while highlighting the economic benefits of the linkage of the road to the city center.
This is the flag-off ceremony of the Kabusa-Keti Access Road. The latest project is the second in the series of road projects to connect communities to the city center. One after the other, Speakers highlight the benefit of the project when completed.
The road itself is a 10.5-kilometer road that connects Kabusa to Keti, as well as serve other communities along this road. Communities like Shereti, Ajata, Shinkakwe, and Dagaji. They are all along this road.
They said I should let you know that what you did in Kabusa to Keti, they are happy with you. And you should know that this is Zone B in Abuja Municipal Area Council. And finally, the good God that gave you the wisdom to listen to our people, that you should please come down to Zone A. Zone A is Nyanya, Karu, Orozo, and Kershi.
The 12-kilometer Kabusa-Keti road is expected to connect neighboring communities as well as boost economic activities in the largely agrarian communities along the corridor.
We have mobilized the contractor. Money for this project is not a problem. It's not a project that will be abandoned. We don't award projects and abandon projects. We start a project and we must complete the project. And for the first time, you can see we are providing roads and at the same time providing street lights. That, in a way, will improve security.
One of the demands of residents in the community, as displayed on banners, is a call for the establishment of a senior secondary school. This captures the attention of the minister.
I've seen what you have written there without even saying, let me approve that Keti will get a senior secondary school.
The minister then leads the way for the flag-off of the project, which is expected to be completed in 6 months.
The Honourable Minister will mount the great...
Well, that's it from the nation's capital. For more on the news at 10, it's back to you, Anne, in Lagos.
Thank you, Gloria. The Wole Olanipekun Foundation has officially donated a state-of-the-art Senate building to the Bamidele Olumilua University of Education, Science and Technology in Ikere-Ekiti. This contribution is set to enhance the academic environment and administrative capabilities of that institution. The handover ceremony was attended by dignitaries, university officials and members of the foundation, marking a significant milestone in the university's development.
Sons and daughters of Ikere-Ekiti gather for the commissioning of the new Senate building constructed and donated to the Bamidele Olumilua University of Education, Science and Technology by legal luminary Wole Olanipekun. Dignitaries present include the Minister of Education, the host and Governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebanji, the former Governor of Ondo State, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, His Royal Majesty, the Ogoga of Ikere, among others. Eulogizing the senior advocate of Nigeria, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, said Mr. Olanipekun has shown great commitment to developing education, adding value to humanity and empowering the youth.
This building, with its promise of enhanced academic administration and capacity building, stands as a beacon of Chief Wole Olanipekun unwavering commitment to the upliftment of education and development of humanity.
The Governor of Ekiti State, Biodun Oyebanji, also describes him as a promise keeper and great philanthropist and challenges other well-meaning Nigerians to emulate his gesture.
I'm extremely grateful again for what you have done. I'm therefore very excited to be here today to be part of this history-making moment of commissioning of the Senate building, which the university has appropriately named after him.
In the remarks by the donor of the structure, Wole Olanipekun, he said his effort is in fulfillment of his promise made after he became a chancellor. He called on the state government to give more infrastructural support to the institution and explains, saying more impact will still be made in the name of his family.
I was constantly reminding myself that I owe the governor a duty to present this edifice to him as soon as possible. That's a mark of man, respect, fidelity, honor, cooperation, and synergy. With this respectable, remarkable, level-headed, humble, and dynamic cherry of our dear king.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Olufemi Adeoluwa, said Ekiti's sons and daughters should take a cue from the renowned lawyer, adding that the institution will forever remain grateful to him.
It's a thing of joy because to solve a lot of problems that we have, our current Senate chamber is already tight. It's not enough for us. But the Senate chamber we have here will serve us for some years to come.
In the name of the Father, in the name of the Son, and in the name of the Holy Spirit.
Undoubtedly, the donation of this Senate building to the Bamidele Limilua University of Education, Science and Technology comes as a big boost to the academic and non-academic activities and will definitely engender efficiency.
The Taj Bank has reaffirmed its commitment to prioritizing customer satisfaction by delivering high-quality financial services. Now, this pledge was made by the bank's management during the celebration of its 5th anniversary in Abuja, an event that also featured the recognition and rewarding of both customers and staff.
This beautiful and colorfully decorated hall is where the management and staff of Taj Bank are meeting to celebrate the 5th year anniversary of the bank. It's a celebration of success, hard work, loyalty, and commitment to quality.
When you have more than 1,500 people earning their daily bread in the bank, I think these are the things that are worth celebrating.
Tonight, we don't just celebrate Taj Bank, we celebrate its vision, its people, and its heart. Taj Bank, 10 over 10.
With a current spread of over 50 branches across the country, Taj Bank says it wants to become one of the top 10 banks.
We have consistently been posting profit after tax. Hopefully by 31st December this year, inshallah, the figures are also going to be wonderful.
Tonight, the bank is also awarding excellent services, beginning with its visionaries. Long service awards are also presented to deserving staff. As guests dine and wine, Taj Bank promises to leverage its human resources and technology for sustainable growth in the years ahead.
We achieved profitability in our first year in business. We wiped up pre-operational expenses within our first year in business. And again, we are the first bank in Nigeria to introduce a private sector, fully 100% private sector sukuk.
5 years down the line, we have invested heavily in technology, and we are still doing more in that space. Why we are doing that is because we aspire to be among the top 10 banks by the year 2029. And you know, when you have that kind of aspiration, you have to invest, 1, in human resources, 2, in technology.
The management of Taj Bank promises to continue to build a strong brand with solutions and competencies in non-interest banking while adopting sustainably ethical banking products and services.
We have more for you in the world of business. Wale Ebong is standing by.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Anne. And the Minister of State for Industry, Senator John Eno, is asking the fiscal authority in Nigeria to accelerate activities which would alleviate the hardship faced by the organized private sector. Senator Eno, who was speaking with journalists after a town hall meeting with players in the real sector in Lagos, believes that the monetary authority has had to remain hawkish because of parts left undone by the fiscal authority. And Delta State Governor Sheriff Oboriwori has signed the 2025 appropriation bill into law, approving 630.5 billion naira for capital projects and 349.8 billion naira for recurrent expenses. Tagged the budgets of fiscal consolidation, the budget aims to complete ongoing projects and drive state development. Governor Oboriwori commends the Delta State Assembly for the swift passage of the bill, emphasizing its alignment with global standards and the need for timely project implementation. He also highlights the state's financial discipline, avoiding borrowing while maintaining steady progress. Let's check in on domestic equities market, which swung back into green territory today, boosted largely by gains in Seplat Energy. Laddie Williams has the details.
Hello and welcome to the stock market report. Well, the midweek trade ended convincingly in the green today, but with subdued trading activity compared to yesterday. And we see the all-share index back above the 98,000 level by 174 points. Market cap waiting to see if we can cross over back to that 60 trillion level. The market mover today, we see Seplat Energy closing at 5,700 naira, contributing to the uptick we see in the market today. To the gainers counter now, we see Golden Guinea Brewery topping the counter again from a 10% gain yesterday, closing at 4.47 naira, 9.83% jump there. Thomas Wyatt also getting on the top gainers counter, up 9.83%. And it's a widely positive market breadth today with 68 gainers against 16 decliners, giving the bull a chance to charge.
Thank you, Laddie. Let's see the closing performance for other global equities now. And that's a wrap on business. It's back to you, Anne.
Banking, so easy, so simple. Dial *894# now to experience it. You first, First Bank.
Thank you, Will. French Prime Minister Michel Barnier has lost a vote of no confidence, with left and far-right parties uniting in parliament to collapse his government. Barnier's leadership trouble began after he used his special powers to push through his own budget without a vote. Here's Simon Puse with other international news and around the world in 5.
Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. South Korean MPs have begun impeachment proceedings against President Yoon Suk-yeol after thwarting his shock move to impose martial law. The president had said martial law was needed to protect the country from North Korea's communist forces and to eliminate anti-state elements. Though he cited North Korea, President Yoon's decision was seen as a response to domestic pressure and a series of scandals. Less than 2 hours after his declaration, MPs forced their way into the National Assembly and voted to block his decision.
비상계엄 해제 요구 결의안은 가결되었음을 선포합니다.
After the assembly vote, President Yoon announced he was reversing his martial law decision. MPs will now vote on his impeachment in the coming days.
We were not aware. We're obviously watching this very carefully. Very good to see that the martial law edict was withdrawn by President Yoon after the Parliament voted against it. And for us, this is one of the most critical alliances that we have anywhere in the world. South Korean democracy is one of the most powerful stories anywhere in the world. It's very important that any disputes, differences, political differences be resolved peacefully and pursuant to the rule of law. That's what we're seeing now. That's what's so important to sustain.
Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah from the governing Southwestern African People's Organization has been voted in as Namibia's first female president after last week's disputed election.
I'm echoing also what the president has said.
The Electoral Commission said she had won with more than 57% of the vote, with her closest rival, Panduleni Itula, getting 26%. Following logistical problems and a 3-day extension to polling in some parts parts of the country. Itula said the electoral process was deeply flawed, and his party said it would challenge the results in court. Human rights groups in Guinea say they believe more than 135 football fans were killed in a crush at a stadium on Saturday, most of them children. The figure, which is unverified, far exceeds the official number of deaths at 56. The group said the estimate was based on information from hospital, cemeteries, witnesses at the stadium, families of victims, mosques, churches, and the local media. More than 50 others are still missing, it said. The military government, however, has warned against spreading unverified information, saying that its investigations are ongoing into the tragedy in the country's second largest city. The Philippines says the China Coast Guard has fired water cannon and sideswiped a government vessel in the South China Sea. On Wednesday, Manila released a video appearing to show a Chinese Coast Guard ship blasting water at a Philippines Fisheries Department vessel. The incident happened near the disputed Scarborough Shoal, and Beijing said it had acted in accordance with the law. The U.S. ambassador to the Philippines condemned China's unlawful use of water cannon and dangerous maneuvers. Cuba's national electricity system has collapsed once again after the country's largest power plant failed, the latest of several such failures as the island's grid falls into disarray amid fuel shortages, natural disaster and economic crisis. The system failure has left the capital Havana almost completely in the dark. The country's energy and mines minister said the Antonio Guterres power plant in Matanzas, the island's top electricity producer, had shut down at around 2 a.m., prompting the grid to collapse. Authorities added they were working to reconnect the system. And an asteroid has lit up the sky in Russia's remote Far Eastern region of Yakutia, producing a fireball before likely burning up in the atmosphere. The Emergencies Ministry in Yakutia said all official bodies had been placed on alert as the asteroid approached, but that no damage had been reported after its descent. Astronomers said the asteroid was a small one, but it was still quite spectacular, visible for hundreds of kilometers. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Super Falcons goalkeeper Chiamaka Nnadozie is gunning for a double as CAF unveiled the top 5 nominees in each of the women's categories at the 2024 awards in Marrakesh, Morocco. She will battle the dynamic sisters of Tabitha and Tenwa Shawinga of Malawi, Sanaa Misudi of Morocco, and Barbara Banda of Zambia for the African Player of the Year award. Nnadozie also leads the top 5 nominees for the Goalkeeper of the Year award, while Chiamaka Okuchukwu is in the running for Young Player of the Year. In the English Premiership, Manchester City finally snapped their 7-game winless run with a 3-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. Bernardo Silva opened scoring 8 minutes into the match. Kevin De Bruyne made it 2 in the 31st minute, while Jeremy Doku ensured they sealed the 3 points. In other results, Fabian Schär, 90th minute strike for Newcastle, denied Liverpool all 3 points in a 3-3 draw at St James's Park, while Southampton lost at home to Chelsea 5-1, and Everton thrashed Wolves 4-0 with Craig Dawson scoring 2 own goals. Meanwhile, Ange Postecoglou says his Tottenham team are progressing in all aspects of the game despite a widely inconsistent campaign so far. Spurs will travel to face Bournemouth on Thursday as 7th in the table with 6 wins, 5 defeats and 2 draws in their opening 13 games. They hammered City 4-0 late last month after being defeated 2-1 at home by Ipswich. That's sports. It's back to you, Anne.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. The Senate today directed its Committee on Finance to suspend further action on the proposed tax bills pending the outcome of a high-level meeting with the Attorney General of the Federation. Also today, the House of Representatives stepped down a bill to amend the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act to insulate judicial officers from prosecution. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwaude. Good night and stay safe.